Going on, guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we got an arms and shoulder session going on. I'm going to be going through the exercises, my reps and execution of the exercises. We're going to kick things off with a dumbbell shoulder press, but first we're going to warm up and then I'll take you from there, yeah? First, we want to talk about the setup. We're going to talk about the bench angle. What determines the bench angle is how much overhead range you have. The higher the angle of the bench, the better your overhead range is. The lower the bench is, the poorer your overhead ability is, alright? So if you press and you naturally push forward, that means this angle, the 75 degrees is too high, alright? Get the same stimulus, so you would have the bench a little bit lower in order to press overhead, okay? Let's talk about arm path, alright? I often see people when they're pressing, they're often too far wide or too close in. For me, rule of thumb, you want to be about 45 degrees. With feet, I like to have them just over shoulder width apart, my feet directly under my knees, and a slight arch. You don't want it to be excessive because that's going to take tension off the delt, but a slight arch, okay? Your natural arch. Reference points, feet, glutes, and shoulder blades into that bench. So when I'm with my clients, what I notice is when they press, they have a tendency to have the elbow flare out, or they'll start nice and then as they push, they will come in. All they're trying to do is make the press easier for themselves, okay? I understand that, but what you need to do, you need to be disciplined and keep your elbow down towards the floor, okay? That's gonna keep it fully lengthened, and as you press, you're gonna be able to keep it fully shortened. I like to tell clients, make sure their elbow's straight down to the floor and they're thinking about pressing up towards the ceiling. The next exercise I'm going to go into is a dumbbell bicep curl. I'm going to go for a heavy set here, trying to load it up. The main focus on this is making sure your shoulder blades are pinned down, alright? Most of the time you see people curling and they're going like this, bringing the elbows up. You're not really getting much bicep because what's coming up, your shoulder joint's moving to get the dumbbell up, not the actual bicep. The next movement I'm going to move on to is a lateral raise. So with the lateral raise, similar to the dumbbell shoulder press, you want to find your arm path, okay? Again, a lot of the time I see people out here doing a lateral raise. It's not the end of the world, but we're not getting the muscle as fully lengthened and as fully shortened as possible. So rule of thumb, I like to have my most natural arm path when I come up. Yep. I haven't moved it left, or I haven't moved it back or forth. I've literally just brought my arms up, alright? So for me, this is my natural arm path, and this is the plane I'm going to want to stay in, okay? what I've noticed with my clients doing lateral raises, the intention's slightly off. They like to lead with their wrists and they end up using their lower arm to bring the dumbbell up rather than the upper arm, okay? The delt attaches to the upper arm, so the movement needs to come from the upper arm. So a good cue I like to give my clients is imagine there's a rope around your wrist and someone's pulling your wrist away, okay? That's gonna make sure that it's switched on. What I like about lateral raises is that it's very safe to get to failure. You can keep tension on that delt for a long period of time while getting the full muscle to failure. As long as you get into failure and the intent of the movement is spot on, your delts are going to grow. You just want to control the weight, make sure you're not swinging, because you see a lot of this sometimes trying to get the weight up. And sometimes that stuff is applicable where it makes sense, but for the most part you want to try and keep tension on the delt. Is an overhead tricep extension. I like this movement a lot because I can lift a lot of weight. My muscles in this lengthened position, so I can shift a bit more weight. Regarding the setup, I like to have my hips on the bar just to give me some stability. From my hips, I'm going to lean forward a tad to create a little hinge, okay? Shoulder base down and keep my elbows in the same position, all right? To get the tricep lengthened, you want to have a bend at the elbow, okay? That's how you're going to lengthen the tricep as much as possible in this movement. Next movement I'm going to go into is a barbell bicep curl. You know by now, the main focus here, shoulder blades pinned, and you want to keep your elbow joint as the only moving joint, okay? A lot of the time we see a lot of this going on. If you look at it, from here to here, the angle of this has not changed. This is what's moved, all right? We're not getting any more contraction from the bicep. So what I need you to do is keep the shoulders pinned and then curl up. So the next movement I'm going to go into is a heavy tricep exercise. I had 3 options and I chose toe grip bench press. I've been doing these for a little while now and I'm really enjoying them. So with any tricep exercise, you're trying to get as much elbow flexion as possible, okay? So with this, you want to keep your arms close and promote as much elbow flexion as possible, meaning elbow bending as possible, okay? On your close grip tricep presses,
It's very easy in its bottom position to let your shoulders roll up, alright? As soon as you've done that, you put yourself in a vulnerable position with your shoulders, and also we've taken tension off the tricep. So it's important, keep the shoulder blades pinned, and think about just bending the elbow. That's as much range as we got, that's fine. We don't need to be doing this to get more. And then from this bottom position, you want to think about pushing up towards the ceiling.